What's up, guys? Jake Berlin here with Apocalypse Movies, and this is my review of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. For those of you who don't know, Fantastic Beasts is a Harry Potter spinoff. Fantastic Beasts is actually a book that was in the Harry Potter universe at Hogwarts. J.K. Rowling decided to work her magic and make an entire series off of this. It's set in 1927 New York, 70 years before the events of Harry Potter. We see a few characters that we know we've seen before. But basically, this is an entire new universe of Harry Potter. It's based in America. We see the Muggle world as far as America goes. Completely new characters. So I'm just gonna jump right into it after a little description and positives. I have a bunch of them, and I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was so different and creative. That's definitely my number one positive about this. It's just so different from the Harry Potter movies. Harry Potter is it's something that stands on its own. A lot of people really enjoy the film, and all of the films actually. And Fantastic Beasts, it builds off of the universe, but it creates its own style and making, and it becomes its own thing really. And it's a movie that you have a lot of fun with. David Yates, he directed this one. He did the last 4 Harry Potter movies. Though compare this one to the last 4 Harry Potter movies, and it's so different as far as tone and setting and characters. It's just so much of a lighter tone that gives you such a good time in the theater. You have all these different creatures and different abilities and like all this different stuff that you never really thought of in the Harry Potter universe. And hats off to J.K. Rowling. She wrote the script, her first screenplay. Obviously, she knows this universe better than anyone. So that was pretty much just a steal of a deal right there. But a couple other positives. Obviously, Eddie Redmayne, fantastic. When you get an Oscar-winning actor like he is to play this kind of role, you expect greatness, and I think that's what he did. Newt Scamander is so different, just like the movie is so different from any character we've seen before. And especially to Harry Potter, he's just so in his own world, and he doesn't really care about anybody else and what people think of him. He's doing the right thing always, and he stops what he's doing to do the right thing for others. He's just a fun character to be around, and the adventure that he does and the kind of things he does with his creatures and who he wants to be and what he wants to do. And I keep going back to it, but it's just so creative and different from anything we've seen in this universe, and that's what makes it so much fun and enjoyable. Also, the casting around him, you see him back here, but every single one of those roles was casted well. The 4 mains of Eddie Redmayne and Catherine Waterston, and the 2 behind them, who we've kind of followed this journey along. They're so much fun to be around. Each of them are different. And each of them brings strengths to the group in their own right. I look forward to seeing them in the sequels. I hope that they're in the sequels and in prominent roles like this film. They were definitely a bright spot of this movie, but as well as these two. Colin Farrell as the villain's fantastic. I'll get to more of him later. I forget these 2 actresses' names, but then you also have Ezra Miller back there, who played a bigger role than we expected. And he was obviously great, and he's a great actor, young actor, and excited to see him as the Flash moving forward. But the cast, as they've done in the past, but they cast well in these films, and seeing him in all the different characters, and they're all so different from each other. And like I said, they bring different things to the table. That's definitely what makes it so much fun. Also, another one is the American society as far as wizardry goes. And, wizards and the magic world is not public in America. Nobody knows about it. And this is the head of what they call Magusa, which is basically the wizard society in America. They are the wizard government. And and they are trying to keep the peace, and they do a really cool job of kind of letting us know how they are involved in everything. They're able to stop time and kind of just rebuild everything and erase people's memory, kind of like the whole Men in Black Flash thing. They're able to erase people's memory and make sure that they don't know anything happened, because there is big stuff that goes on in this film. Obviously, you see from the trailers, buildings are broken down. There's all things kind of going on. So you wonder, how do people not know about it? Well, you find out in this film, they're able to kind of neuralize people and keep the peace for the magic community in America. So that was really cool. It's so cool to see the opposite side of the world. It's going to be interesting going forward in the sequels, because there are 4 of them. There's going to be 5 total movies in the series. So yeah, I mean those are my positives. Again, you know, the creativity and the difference between the universe of Harry Potter and all those movies. Eddie Redmayne, fantastic. He just couldn't get better for Newt Scamander. I think he just, you know, he embodied the role. The rest of the cast as well, really, really strong. And the American Society of Magic, I think they did a really good job of kind of just giving us what the American Society of Magic is like in New York and the rest of America as well. So as far as negatives, you know, I only have a few, but I do want to touch on one. You know, I mentioned Colin Farrell earlier. While I thought he was fantastic in the role, you know, the guy is one of the most underrated actors out there. His character, you know, I was bummed with the way his character ended, and I'm not going to spoil it. This is a non-spoiler, so I'm not going to say anything that'll ruin the movie for you if you haven't seen it. But the ending of the movie kind of bummed me out a little bit as far as his character. That's all I'm going to say. Doesn't take away from the performance or what he brought to the movie, but I think it's just the ending of where his character ended up at. It's kind of a bummer to me. So that's definitely one of the negatives. A second one would be, you know, maybe there was just a little bit too predictability here. You know, a lot of people may not see it, but I kind of felt like I knew where it was going halfway through the movie. You can kind of just tell, which is unfortunate. You know, you can accept some predictability here and there, but if you accept this predictability, kind of, you know, the big bang at the end is like, oh, okay, you know, that's obvious. You know, it's not as big of an impact for you. So that's definitely a negative for me. I just thought that it was a little bit too tipped off in the middle of the movie. Didn't take away anything from the movie, but it would have impacted the ending a little bit more if I didn't know that. And also, you know, this isn't a negative for the movie, but all the rumors and the details coming out about the sequels and whatnot, and it didn't impact this movie at all. But going forward, I just think that I hope that they don't try and do too much like Harry Potter going forward. I feel like this is maybe going to turn into a Dumbledore prequel at some point. We don't see him in this movie. There's been rumors about him showing up in the sequel. And I don't want to see this become a Harry Potter prequel or a Dumbledore prequel where it has the same tone, setting, and feeling as those movies, because this was so different and so new and something so fresh in this universe. Why not keep the same thing going? They might do that, but from everything coming out about the sequel and everything, I feel like these 4 characters might be pushed off to the side, and they're going to bring in Dumbledore, whoever's playing young Dumbledore, and Grindelwald, who is played by Johnny Depp. I do not want those, like, obviously those 2 characters are going to kind of step up and become a big part of the sequels going forward, but I don't want these 4 moving away. These 4 characters are really, really strong and have great chemistry together. I think it's a great idea to just keep them in the same spot as they have been going forward. I was excited about this movie and walked out having a lot of fun because of these characters. I want to see more from them. That might be the case, but I hope it's in a big role, and I hope they're not pushed off to the side. And if they are, it's going to be super unfortunate. But who knows? The movie might still be great. You know, David Yates is directing them. J.K. Rowling is writing them. So those are obvious plus signs. So again, my negatives, you know, Colin Farrell's ending for his character, the villain, the predictability as far as the ending goes, a little bit of twist at the end, and then obviously moving forward for these movies, I hope that they stick with what the Fantastic Beast is and not move to something more towards Harry Potter. So, you know, as for overall rating, you know, like I said, I really, really enjoyed it. I recommend it to anyone. It's for all ages, really. There's nothing in here that you can hold anybody back from. The magic is just fun. The creatures, you see so many new things in here. If you're a Harry Potter book reader or if you're a Harry Potter movie fan, you're going to see things you've never seen before or read before. It's something so different, so creative. I think they have a massive hit on their hands. You know, I'm very excited going forward for this franchise and to see what happens with all these characters. So for an overall score, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. You know, again, a lot of fun. I recommend it to anybody. I think that, you know, it's a total plus sign going to see this movie. And I recommend checking out as soon as you have time. And if you have checked out already, go check it out again because it's worth a second viewing. So again, 8.5 out of 10 for Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. My name is Jake Berlin. Make sure to check out this YouTube channel, Apocalypse Movies YouTube. We're doing all kinds of things here: movie news, Padawan podcast, movie reviews, a little bit of Rumor Central here and there, some big TV stuff as well. We're trying to do big things. Also check out the site. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake. Again, at Qui-Gon Jake. And until next time, see you later.